pregnancy rumors, new releases, and the cost of living.
On this episode of Simply Necessary Conversations,
Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. So, word on the street is Halle Bailey, and as the internet's called him, DVD, also known as DDG.
okay.
They are supposedly, possibly, allegedly having a child together. So my question is, well, first of all, let's get into the fact that I feel like she's definitely pregnant. Not to assume people's business or be in people's business. Allegedly. But if you look at her Instagram, if we just take a scroll on her Instagram, her outfit choices have been very questionable in terms of the bagginess of her clothes and the way that she's sitting and the way that the camera is set up. I feel like she might be with child, but that's not my business. Because if she wants to have a baby with DDG, success and happiness, I wish her the best. But do you think at the top of her career, she is the Little Mermaid, she is making all of these records, her sister's breaking records and making songs, they're at the height of their career. She's 23. Can she have it all? Can she have a baby? And can she be a boss bee in the music and entertainment world?
Well, I am really hoping that the rumors are not true. And I say that not because I don't think she has a right to have a baby. You have a right to have a baby whenever you feel like you want to. And, that's not my business. I just feel like at the height of her career is not the time. She's only 23. She has all the time in the world. She just got done being the Little Mermaid. She killed that. I mean, it's almost like she's right on the brink of major success. And while having a baby is a blessing, especially if it's a baby that you want, that's planned, whatever. But this just is not the ideal time for her. And yes, you can have everything, but you cannot have everything all at the same time. Like, personally, I think for women, unfortunately, it's a lot of times a choice, career or family. You can have both, but it is very difficult to have an ideal situation when you're trying to have both. So for me, especially as a mom, if she were my 23-year-old daughter, I would support her, whatever is going on. But I would really not want her to have a baby right now. Like, this is not the best time.
I just don't understand why she wants to have a child at all right now.
Because and we're still assuming that she's pregnant. She may not even be pregnant.
Okay, but we're taking it away from specifically her and DDG and putting it on just like in general, can you have it all? I feel like she's too young. Like, she's only 2 years older than me. Mm-hmm. There is no way on God's green earth that I would have anybody's child right now. Like, you could not pay me.
In Jesus' name,
you could not pay me $1 billion to have a child right now because I still have to figure out my career.
Yeah.
So I don't get why, if she is pregnant, why she would want to be pregnant.
Now, and if she is, we're just, we're guessing. If she is, it may not have been on purpose. But here's my thing.
No, it's 2023.
If you're
on
a thinking person who is active, you know that that's a possibility. And if I'm at the height of my career, if I'm her, I just got done working with Disney being the first Black Little Mermaid. Every method of contraception that they sell on the market would have been
on that experimental men's birth control drug. And there's no way.
What's sad too is if she is indeed pregnant and she does have a baby, it's going to affect her career a lot more than his. And I don't care how hands-on he is. I don't care how helpful he is. I don't care how much in love they may or may not think that they are. There's a reason why they say mama's baby, papa's maybe. Because a man is not ever, like, first of all, when you have a baby, the woman, you never see a woman being taken to court for a paternity test or a maternity test. Because you don't have to prove that you're the mother. You only have to prove that you're the father. That in itself lends itself to the woman having to take more responsibility, her making more of the sacrifice. She's literally putting her body on the line initially. And then after the baby gets here, she's putting everything else. If she's a good mother, because that's the way I see it, she's going to have to put everything else on the back burner to take care of the child. And he is still, depending on how he handles the situation, would be footloose and fancy free. I just hope this is not true for her. If it is, hopefully, they're a happy couple. The baby will be born into a loving situation. but this is just not the
I
ideal
feel like
time.
there's a big difference between Halle and Rihanna. Like, Rihanna was at the height of her career, did her hot girl stuff, made her money, made billions of dollars, then fell in love with A$AP Rocky, and now they're building a family and they're having kids because she's, what, like 30-something years old?
I don't know how old she is, but she's older than 23.
She's older. She has her stuff together. Like, she's settled. Halle just got on the scene, really.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you think about it, she's about the age that someone would be coming out of college. Like, this is not.
Yeah, and none of my friends need to have
like
kids.
this is not. I mean, and I don't want to jinx her, and I don't. We need to mind our business, but
I mean,
she's
but when
a public
you're a celebrity,
figure.
you're a public figure.
But even if this was just someone that you were in college with, coming at 23, coming right out of school, or just kind of starting your life, because having a child changes everything. If you're going to prioritize being a parent, it changes everything.
I feel like and I feel like a lot of these celebrities that are having kids, I won't say they're setting a bad example, but they're making having children seem a lot easier and more accessible to the average working person.
It glamorizes
because I just don't understand how the average 20-something-year-old can afford to take care of a baby.
That's the thing. They can't. If you're not a celebrity, if you don't have the means to pay for a nanny or to have childcare, like the average person struggles with childcare, and it takes a lot of your household budget to pay for childcare. Yeah. So if you're not rich, if you're not famous, if you don't have the money to have a live-in nanny or at least childcare that's top notch, you're not going to have the same experience as her. And unfortunately, a lot of celebrities are kind of making things look glamorous that are not glamorous unless you're rich.
Even people were saying that when Rihanna was pregnant, like, oh, she made like being pregnant look sexy and cool. And I'm just like, y'all do not have billions of dollars in your bank account. And no, money doesn't buy happiness, but money makes happiness a whole lot easier.
And Rihanna looked like she looked, and it looked all. She had a glam squad. How many of the regular people have a glam squad that can literally put makeup on her belly, like put makeup on her face, like get her so that she is paid. Even as a pregnant person, she is paid to look good. That is her job. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of these regular, everyday working class folks, y'all don't need to have children. Not to tell people that what they can and can't do in their own adult grown business. Yeah. But in my humble opinion, I feel like it's kind of crazy to be 23 and be talking about having a kid. Because at 23, do you there's certain things that I don't even know. Like the other day, I didn't realize, like we were talking about with my coworker today, I didn't know there were sizes to diapers. And that's scary.
Why would I need?
Because there's different sizes of babies and toddlers.
I don't think about children. My last concern is a kid. So when someone's like, oh, like, yeah, there's sizes to diapers, I'm just like, oh, for real? Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why, no. And even with the Rihanna situation, with the Halle situation, what a lot of people don't realize too is the more you have, this is so sad, but the more you have, the more people want to give you. So there's childcare product companies that will gift Rihanna or Halle half the things that they need for their baby just so that they can say that their baby wore their stuff. Nobody's gifting working class people the products and the things that they need for their kids. You're going to have to work for it.
You're not getting Gucci pajamas for little Junior.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same thing. So, I mean, God bless her. I hope that if she is pregnant, that, it's what she wanted and it wasn't something that just happened. Yeah. And even if it was something that just happened, I hope that, whatever decision she made, she's happy with it. The baby's happy, healthy, if there is a baby, because we're assuming a lot. But you can't, to me, she is, she's putting a lot of deals and career opportunities on the line if she is pregnant.
But I feel like that also goes to show how you could be at the top. Like, you can have everything that other people might want, but there's still something that you feel. And they're not saying that this is the case for her, because I don't even know if the girl is pregnant or not. But I feel like that goes to show, like, there's certain things that people are just going to want regardless of whether it's what you think they should want. Because if I was her, I'd just be happy to be getting on red carpets and to be getting movie roles and to have the notoriety and fame and, like, influence that she has and the impact that she's had specifically on the Black community, but also just on, like, the Disney princess community and the music community or whatever. But apparently, if she is pregnant, that's not the only goal that she has. And I guess she shouldn't be forced to only have that career goal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but and then here I come with on the spiritual level with this whole thing. Just when she's in the eye of all these little girls that are wanting to be like her because they saw her as the Little Mermaid, now she's pregnant at 23.
Well, that's not inappropriate.
It's not inappropriate, but it's just funny that when she has just become somewhat of a, and I hate to use the word role model because that's not exactly what it was, but the little girls just became aware of who she is. So, some of them may be following her career or a lot more interested in her career than they would have been before. So just when she became the Little Mermaid, 5, 6, 7-year-olds are looking at her, wanting to be like her, whatever.
I mean, yeah, but at a certain point, there's a level of this is grown people's business. And just because you like the Little Mermaid. Kids don't understand that. Yeah, but just because when I was little, I didn't think just because I liked a celebrity that all of a sudden I needed to do everything that they did. That's not how life works. No, but kids often... Some kids will fixate on someone that they're interested in and they follow their career a lot more so now with social media and the internet. That's more of a parenting issue, not more of a celebrity issue. It is. Because I would not let my future kids be obsessed with any celebrity. Like,
sometimes you can't stop kids from who they like.
But then that's just an inevitable truth. That's not anyone's fault.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just hoping that the rumors are not true, but if she is pregnant, I'm hoping that it works out for the best for her.
If she is pregnant, I wish her success and happiness. May the odds forever be in her favor. I personally don't understand it, and she can keep that negative energy away from me. But, if she wants to have a baby with DVD, she can go and do that. Like, I don't really care.
Stop calling him DVD.
It's funny because his name is DDG. DVD just rolls off.
What does DDG even stand for?
You know what? Let's see. Because I believe that's his name. If I'm going to
have a father of my child, I'm going to need him to have a whole name and not just
his name letters. Is Darrell Dwayne Granberry Jr. So that's why it's DDG.
Okay.
Is he from the country?
Yeah, because that's a very interesting name.
Dwayne Granberry is very
Granberry is very interesting.
He's from Michigan.
Okay. See?
I didn't know people in Michigan got down like that.
Okay. Yeah,
Darrell Dwayne Granberry.
Well, I think we should mind our own little business and just wish them the best, whatever's going on.
Maybe they'll welcome DVD Jr. Okay. Anyway. So on to let me put y'all on while we talking about musicians, because DDG is a rapper, Halle is a singer and an actress. While we talking about musicians, one of my favorites, I don't know whether she classifies herself as neo soul, but I'm gonna say that she's neo soul or R&B, like in that vein. But she makes a lot of like self-empowerment, spiritually aware type music. But her name is Cleo Soul. If you haven't heard, now you know. I was playing her in the car, so you're gonna recognize some of it. But she just dropped a new album. What is the name of the album actually? The new album is called Heaven. And I think a lot of the songs in this album are very spiritually like infused.
I definitely heard some spiritual references in what I heard in the car.
But this song is called Miss Romantic, and I feel like I'm gonna kind of give a preface because we don't want to get sued, so I'm not gonna play the whole song. But the lyrics of the song are kind of about like not settling, having self-respect, and knowing what you deserve, and not getting caught up in the being romantic and like wanting specific things out of life.
Glory to God. Something positive.
Which, I feel like I need a little of that in my spirit.
Yes, ma'am.
Playing the song now.
Is this the girl that you want to be? Looking at him like he's a god figure. Maybe you just need a father figure. And now you're feeling it firsthand. At one point.
Yeah. I loving her right now. Let's play more of her. Not now, but just
because I don't want her to be like, hello, you can't use my music no more.
Yeah, but I like what I heard.
Yeah, but I feel like she's a really good, like, as you like to say, role models, and how performers and celebrities are role models. I think she's one of the artists that, like, all of her music is either, like, getting through heartbreak or is very positive and just like uplifting and like, you are that girl, you are that queen, rise above this BS. Like that's kind of
just the lyric that I caught just then, looking at him like he's a God figure. You need
really
a father figure.
Ooh, heavy on that.
Because a lot of people are in that category.
I'm not gonna name names.
We don't want to name names, but yeah, a lot of people are in that category.
But other than being Miss Romantic, I think I like to romanticize like my future and what my living situation would be, because I want to leave your house as soon as possible. um, not that I don't love my mama, y'all, but I don't want to live with her for the rest of my life. But what had happened is the cost of living in Tampa. I feel like we need to talk. I feel like we touched on this in the first episode, but we really need to have like a deep dive conversation about this in this episode, because there was a study or statistic or whatever you want to call it that said you need $85,000 a year to live in Tampa. And I feel like most people do not make $85,000 a year in Tampa or anywhere else unless you're like in LA or somewhere. So like what's going on?
Well, there are probably people that make $85,000 a year. It's just not
It's not
average
common.
income is not common. Some households, if they're lucky, the combined income may be that or a little bit more than that, I would say. But yeah, it's kind of scary that people are going to college, racking up debt to pay for a college degree, and then get out of school and get jobs that don't even pay enough for them to pay the student loans that they had to take out to go to college. Like, that is a scary, scary thing. And people are having to work multiple jobs. You know, if you're not from a 2-income household, it's hard.
And I feel like, too, what it does, specifically since I feel like Tampa is a very significant college town. There's USF, there's UT, there's HCC. Like, there's students that are here. And I feel like it kind of forces a lot of people to feel like they need to pick majors or career goals solely so that they can make that $85,000 or more a year versus something that they actually enjoy. Because I've heard a number of people that I went to school with say like, oh, I don't like my major, but like I need money.
Yeah,
I have to do a career with money. And people would look down on my little mass comm major because they were just like, oh, girl, you're not going to make no money. And I'm just like, well, I could have all this money and be depressed, or I could have a little, or not a little bit of money, because it's not like I'm destitute, but I can have less money and actually enjoy what I'm doing and follow my dreams. So I feel like America in general, but specifically Tampa, is creating a culture of either settling financially or settling career-wise in terms of doing stuff that you really don't want to do.
Yeah. And I will tell you, as someone much older, if you can find a job that will pay for your needs, all of your needs, some of your wants, that you really love, it's better to do that than to go for something that pays more money that you really hate. Yeah. Because if you wake up every morning having to go into a job that you hate, wake up every morning, like, you know, every weekend you're dreading Monday because I got to go to this job that I hate, that you probably won't live as long, because psychologically and emotionally it's going to age you faster. It's going to make you, you know, not be as happy as you could be. So I say, if you can, do something that you enjoy. Now, you can't be delusional. You can't say, oh, I want to be an artist, and then you're not selling any art or you're not making any money, but I'm doing what I love. You got to eat. You can't live off love. You can't live off good looks. You know,
they're going to be making some ramen noodles. And
you know, you got to survive, but just picking a career based on how much it pays is not the move, because you're not gonna be happy ultimately. Because there's a lot of people that have high paying jobs but they're miserable. There's a lot of people that are just born into money, but the money is not enough to make them happy. So you got to kind of find as close to a balance as you can, and hope that it works out. But there's very few jobs in the Tampa Bay area. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but there are very few jobs in the Tampa Bay area that are paying $85,000
I can't think
a
of
year.
When I was doing a job hunt, seeing a job, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or in tech, that paid $85,000 a year. Like, that's, unless you are owning your own company, I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the thing that I read was like to live comfortably. So I feel like you can't live like there. You gotta cut some stuff out. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's I don't know what the solution is.
And then some people too, when they say that amount, that's because a lot of people, quite a few people, I'm not going to say the majority because I don't know what it is statistically, but a lot of people try to live above their means.
This is true.
Anyway, like, so what are you spending your money on? Where are you investing those funds that you're earning? Because some people that look like they are enjoying their lives or that they're making a lot of money or whatever and stuff, they're living from check to check, or they're so deep in debt that, you know, they are not they're not able to sleep at night. You know, people are committing suicide and everything else because they
the proper way to say that is to say you're dying by suicide because you don't commit suicide, because that's like saying you commit murder, and suicide is a mental health thing.
Thank you for that education.
And because I can't say that on my job. Like I can't write headlines that says commit suicide. All right,
Miss Media, thank you for the correction. Whatever the case may be, people are around here struggling because they're trying to live the high life. They're trying to wear clothes they can't afford and drive vehicles they can't afford and live in neighborhoods that they can't afford to live in. At
what point do you have time to think about the future? Because like right now I'm just like, okay, so I'm spending money on this and I'm spending money on that, and I want money to like buy a house, move out, like create passive income somehow. When do I have time to think about, okay, retirement? I'm going to have to retire one day. Okay, when I have kids, they're going to have to go to college. They're going to need cars. Like, I can't plan ahead because I'm, like, still very much in the future of, like, okay, what can I do right now that's going to help?
See, and what a lot of college students need to understand is cute and cool to have your little bachelorette or bachelor pad and all that kind of stuff. But when you come out of school, if you come out of school and you're crazy enough to immediately jump into an apartment or a house where you're having to pay rent and the majority of your check is going towards rent, you are setting yourself up for perpetual debt. So I know you don't want to live at home, but by living at home, you are able to put money aside. I'm not charging you rent as long as you're not getting on my nerves and not being disrespectful.
No, but you did say that I had to start paying some of the light bills since
because we have the argument about the thermostat.
Because you want it to be the Sahara Desert inside the house.
I just don't see the logic in cooling the house to the point that I'm cold and then putting on more clothes.
What you don't seem to understand is that you're cold. I'm hot. You're creating the temperature that I'm comfortable in, and then you can go put on a sweater.
Well, here's the thing. I know what my average light bill is. When my average light bill is higher than average, then yes, you need to pay for that, because
if I had my own place,
then you'd be paying the whole light bill.
I wouldn't have to deal with this, and I would not be waking up hot and miserable every night.
Well, also I've awakened to, why is it so cold in here?
Mom, you can but what I need you to I feel like we should make a poll or something for this episode.
Okay, so people that are watching, don't even suggest a number. Comment and let us know what you think the average temperature in the house should be, like year round, like in the summertime, wintertime. What should the temperature be? And we'll see. Don't even suggest a number. We'll see what people say.
I want to suggest. I want to.
Don't suggest anything. Let's see what people say.
But people are gonna say colder than what you like.
Probably because I'm always cold.
My thing is I can't get unhot. Like what am I supposed to do? I can't get unhot. You can literally just put on a robe, get a blanket, put on a sweater. You want to walk around in shorts and a tank top.
Well, it's my house.
Okay, but if you're in shorts and a tank top and you're cold, put on more clothes.
It's not always that.
Yes, it is.
It's not always that.
No, and y'all know what really made me mad last night was I walk into this woman's bedroom and the fan is on.
Oh, okay. So I think people would be on my side with that one, because if you got a fan in your room and the air conditioner is not cooling you enough, turn the fan on.
But if you hot and the fan is on, just change the thermostat. The fan can be turned off. We're even Steven.
The fan doesn't use as much electricity as the central heat
and
air.
And what experimental things have you done in the house to know that the fan does not use as much electricity?
The fan is a smaller appliance. It has a smaller motor. Like you're talking about the whole, something that cools and heats
we're
the
literally
entire
talking
house.
about a 1 degree difference. Literally 1 degree.
And it is literally.
It's literally 1 degree, and you refuse to just put on a sweater for 1 degree.
I keep waking up cold. Anyway,
and you sleep better when you're cold.
These are the things that you have to consider when you get a career, because if you have to live at home, to save money, then there's compromise.
Yeah, I don't like compromise.
There's compromise.
This is why I need to live by myself.
So very few people are living completely rent free.
Yeah, but I really don't like I love being by myself. Like people don't understand how much I really adore being by myself. So having to live with somebody else, even though like I love my mother, it still be irritating. Like
we're not gonna list all of the tragic things I have to deal with because you
don't have to deal with anything that's tragic.
Close the door. Turn that
No,
light
because
off.
you act so ridiculous about a door being like, what is the door being left open going to do realistically? It's not like I'm leaving the front door open or the garage door open. I'm just leaving my.
Actually,
no, I've never done that before.
Actually, I did wake up and it was cracked, and I'm like, oh my God, we could have been killed, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, you must have left it open because I closed the door. My bedroom door being open is going to do absolutely nothing.
Anyway, but yeah.
Anywho.
Anyway,
or how about y'all just like blow this podcast up and then this don't have to be an issue.
That's what could
this
happen.
Doesn't have to be an issue for me anymore.
That's what could happen if the podcast gets blown up and we become celebrities. And I don't even want to be a celebrity. I just want the money without the fame. But anyway, whatever happens, if you can make it so that Emari, I don't even need to be. Make Emari famous so that she has unlimited income, and then I could go stay at her house and complain about how cold it is and eat out of her refrigerator and leave doors open and lights on and all that kind of stuff. Y'all make that happen.
Wouldn't care about leaving the door open because nobody in their right mind cares about a door being left open.
Okay,
that's a very you thing.
You're gonna have kids one day,
and I'm not gonna care if they leave their door open.
That's what you say now. Anyway,
because that's what makes sense. Anyway. Anywho, It's time for Ask a Gemini. Sir, was I supposed to? Y'all was supposed to ask you this. Yeah, I don't know why I second guess when there's literally a big blocked out thing that says my name. But anyway, so the question is, what's something that your generation would never do that's common among my generation?
I don't know that I can come up with a specific. Like one specific thing. I think your generation is a lot more lax about certain things. Like your generation is way, especially African American. I can only speak from my lived experience. So African American Gen Zers are way less respectful of religion, and they're way less respectful, I think, of their elders. In a certain kind of way.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think there's a lot of things that we were raised, at least I was raised, to be respectful of and to not kind of treat casually that your generation does, if that makes sense.
I don't think. Maybe less respectful of religion, but that's more of a complex conversation because I feel like a lot of people in your generation just went to church just to have something.
There were a lot of people that just they went just because they were told to go.
I feel like my generation is just more vocal about calling out bureaucracy.
Your generation, which I kind of like, they're not as malleable. They don't just take things.
Yeah, I feel like we are the type to ask questions and wonder.
But at the same time, like I sometimes hear on sitcoms and movies and songs, people say stuff that I was raised to think that it was blasphemous. You don't make jokes.
I feel
about
like
certain
the difference
things.
is that your generation kind of lived in bubbles, like. Maybe. Y'all all thought this, especially in Polk County, Florida. Ooh, y'all. Not me exposing that we from Polk County. Polk County is not giving. But I feel like y'all lived in little bubbles and y'all all thought the same way. Y'all all felt the same way. Where I feel like my generation, because of social media, because it's easier for people to move and communicate with each other, like you're just seeing people that didn't grow up thinking a certain way. Well, and you're misinterpreting that as like, oh, our generation is so different when it's just like, no, you're just actually meeting different people.
We've talked about it before. Your friend group and your exposure is a lot more diverse than what mine was. I will acknowledge that, but there's still some basic things. And I'll even say this. It's not just Gen Zers. People in general are less religious, less respectful of stuff. For instance, like I was floored, shocked, called, whatever you want to say, when back in the day, if somebody swore on the Bible or they swore, to God, or they swore on somebody's life,
that means absolutely nothing.
They would be telling the truth. Like back in the day, you almost just took for it. If they swore to God or they swore on somebody's life, like you just felt like, okay, that's it. They're not lying.
Did they actually not lie, or were y'all just gullible?
It could have been a combination of both. But for the most part, you thought you could believe them. But I, in the last year or so, have had somebody swear on their dead mother and their children and was telling
that means
a whole
nothing.
Big old lie. Like people didn't do that kind of stuff. I have witnessed someone literally just to try to fool a woman fake a conversion, like go to a church, go up to the front of the church and quote unquote give their life to God, knowing full well it was all phony. And I grew up very, not even sheltered, but I grew up where people were honest and decent human beings.
I don't know whether people were honest and decent human beings or whether y'all was just gullible.
I'm telling you, it was a combination of both. But there were a lot of things that people would not play with. There were a lot of things that people were respectful of that they are no longer respectful of. There were, even in the dating scene, people will do stuff now that I never, ever would have thought that I needed to be careful of or be aware of. There's a whole lot that has changed. I
don't know whether it's changed or whether social media and like just the way that the world is constructed now makes it more obvious, if that makes sense. Because like elders was cheating on each other back in 1930s.
People always were doing things, and there was no Facebook for you to out somebody or social media to out them. But there was such a thing back in the day of, okay, that's a nice girl, or he's a good guy, whatever. Now the lines are blurred. Like, people that you think are nice people turn out to be almost demonic people that you think, you should respect if you like kind of dig a little bit or even observe them long enough. It's like, oh my God.
I feel like that's happening because at the same time that we're getting rid of like harmful social norms and like different views that aren't progressive or whatever word you want to use for it, it also does away with other stuff at the same time. Like, while we're making good progress in a lot of ways, I won't say we're making bad progress, but
that's literally biblically, the biblical quote for that would be, the world will become wickeder and wiser.
I don't know if the world is becoming
wickeder and wiser. That's literally what's happening. They're becoming more knowledgeable about technology, science, just, the means by which they gather and can access information. It is much easier to find out things and know things, but they're using it in such. We got a lot of mental giants and moral midgets is what we have.
You can't say that word.
We got, I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but
that's actually a slur.
I was just being alliterative.
That's something.
That's something. Your generation is so concerned with being PC.
I feel like that's certain people. Like, I feel like I'm kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody tells me something is bad or something is a slur, then I'll be like, all right, cool, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Because I don't want to offend anybody.
But there's just some things I simply don't know until you tell me. Exactly. And then I might accidentally offend somebody and I'm like, oopsie, my bad. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
But there's some people that are very like anal about it. Like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you did. And I'm just like, I didn't even know that was a thing, babe.
Exactly.
But there's also some people where it's just like, okay, like, once you're corrected, then don't do it again.
Yeah, learn better, do better. So, like, if I offended someone by saying midget, I'm sorry.
Don't say it again, bro.
I mean, whatever. Anyway.
Canceled.
No, I'm not going to get
us canceled. This is what happens when you do a podcast with Gen X. They say slurs, and then they get you canceled. Y'all, I do not condone
my
the use of slurs.
Okay, no, let's use it as a teachable moment. What's the appropriate
little person?
Okay, but that doesn't fit the analogy that I was trying to that doesn't fit.
I don't care. It's still a slur.
Anyway,
then you repeated it.
There are some people that are very, very smart, but they are very, very evil. Let's just do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize to the little person community.
Oh, you've offended Polk County. You've offended the
Polk
United
County
States.
People are stupid. Okay.
Look, so if you can say that's
me.
A whole county.
I'm
of
from
people.
Polk County. I'm from Polk County.
Okay, so then stop insulting Polk County.
I can say that. Are you a little person?
No.
Okay, then you can't use little people slurs.
It depends on who I'm standing next to, kinda.
No. Oh my God.
We're gonna
get canceled.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Anyway, no. Learn better, do better. Okay. See, but this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Your generation is so mindful of certain things
because
that my generation
we can
just
kind of canceled. That's what I feel like. That's why
there was no cancellation back in the day because the only people that heard you say things were people that were present.
But
in the room.
Feel like on the same way that you're saying we're getting wickeder and wiser, I feel like your generation got away with a lot of things
that
they shouldn't have been able to get away with because there weren't eyes on it.
Yeah, they perpetuated a lot of negative things that nobody called them on. So yeah, they did.
So I feel like it's a give and take. Like, yeah, my generation, we might We might call everything a slur and be a little bit sensitive about things. But, you know, at least we're talking about the things that actually need to be talked about and addressed at the same time. So you got to, it's a give and take.
Yeah, I think your generation has the ability to see and experience and be involved with people that are different from them a lot more so than my generation was. Like, a lot.
I feel like we're a bit more understanding. Like, yeah, of course, there's still going to be differences and there's still going to be times when someone gets offended. But I think my generation makes an attempt to understand other perspectives versus where your generation just shuts it down. Like,
kind of.
I feel like I have to argue with like you and grandma and stuff about a lot
certain things.
Of things.
Well, one thing I wish that I think was better in my generation, and this is going to sound crazy, but I miss shame. I miss people actually being ashamed when they got caught doing something or being ashamed of the. This generation is kind of like, oh, I did something crazy.
No, I feel like there's at the same time that I'm glad that people are very much on a self-empowerment, like I can do whatever I want thing. Because I agree with that, you know, wholeheartedly. I'm very much a self. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like I'm very
having autonomy. Over
yourself. I like having
autonomy
over what I do and what I say. But at the same time, I feel like it goes a touch too far.
It's a little bit too close to do as thou wilt.
Don't say a satanic principle.
Well, that's the principle that it seems like this generation lives under.
And then you literally quote a satanic principle.
That is people need to be aware of that. Do as thou wilt is the whole of the law. That is what people seem to be doing now. And it's not okay. It is not okay. There needs to be a certain element of there's a bottom that you will not go to, and it doesn't seem like it exists anymore. People don't have a bottom. They will lie, cheat, steal. There are people that literally feel like as long as it moves them forward financially or, you know, personally, it's okay to do, and it's not. It absolutely is not. You need to have a bottom that you will not read. People are not only going to the bottom of the barrel, they're flipping it over in the stuff that's underneath the barrel. They're just swimming around in it, and it's too much for my spirit.
That was very descriptive.
Well, whatever it takes. Like, it's too much for my spirit. Find some humanity.
Does humanity exist anymore? Did humanity ever exist? That's the existential question that we have. Has humanity ever existed?
Or at least we had the perception that it did. I think
your generation, y'all have revisionist history and y'all fantasize a lot.
No, I know what my reality was.
I've heard a lot of people that grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they just be like, oh, everything was so wonderful. Everything was so easy. And I'm just like, was it really? Was it?
There were things that were much better, but then there were things that were not so great. So like, but that's always going to be the case. That's always going to be the case. So, you know, do the best you can.
I suppose. Yeah. But I think I was born in the right generation for the most part.
Well, obviously.
No, I mean, like, I don't wish that I was like a part of another generation.
There's things about the past that I miss, but at the same time, like I said,
don't know because I'm a Black woman. Do I really want to go back in history? Like, is that going to be fun for me? I don't think so.
Believe it or not,
I think the 90s might have been better.
Well,
maybe
it kind of goes in cycles, and like they say, fashion and history kind of repeats every 20 to 30 years, and I believe that because I've lived long enough to kind of see one of the cycles. So 70s, that was when we had Black empowerment. Everybody was saying it loud and being Black and proud. That was when we were sporting fros, and we had our own aesthetic that was kind of ours. So, and then that cycling around again.
Wasn't there still segregation though?
We were just on the other side of it because I went to integrated schools. My mom was in the last segregated class at her high school in 68. 69, they started integrating schools in the Polk County area. So, like, I was just on the other side of that. I don't remember a time ever going to, maybe kindergarten, everybody was Black. But then after kindergarten, everything was integrated. So,
but wasn't that bizarre, though?
You didn't know any different.
Like, is that not? I can't imagine going to a integrated or like because I know like even once segregation ended, like I'm sure schools were still kind of like this is the Black side, this is the white side.
Yeah, it kind of was.
But I can't wrap my head around that because my entire life I've been able to be friends with whoever I want.
And you know what's funny though? That was kind of when the kids became the teachers and the parents became the students in that. And my dad talked about it a lot because we were in 2 years into integrated schools when I started, about 5 to 7 years in, when I started school. My brother 2 years ahead of me. My dad had grew up in an all-black world. So he was like, when he would come to school with us or when he had to go into settings where it was integrated, we kind of took the lead in that we didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So he kind of observed us and kind of watched us because it was not what he was accustomed to. And, of course, as time went on, it became just, that was the way it was everywhere. But while there was the negative in that there was segregation, there was community in a different way. There was very much community in a different way. And it's kind of sad that as the world became more integrated, it kind of eroded the unity that existed in the Black community. And we'll talk about that on another part because that's a whole
nother topic.
That's a whole thing. But yeah, it's weird in that I see the progress that we made. I'm happy about the progress that we made. But at the same time, I missed. It was almost like a shared, like if you had a shared, well, you definitely had a shared history, but if you had a shared trauma, you kind of bonded around it. Does that make sense?
There's a lot of there was historical and anthropological.
Yeah, that's a whole that's a whole deeper conversation. But I miss shame, I miss unity, I miss just people having values and morals. I miss it.
I'm trying to think of something from your generation that I miss in my generation.
Well, you can't miss it, but you mean
I would have wanted in my generation. Like what did y'all have? What was tea?
We had a lot of stuff. And now I'm on the spot. I can't think of anything specific, but we had a lot of stuff that was, like I said, that was very positive. The having the non-integrated schools was negative in that my parents joke about never having a new textbook and always having whatever was passed down from the other schools in the community was their material. Like that's what they got. They never owned a new textbook. My dad said he used to look in the back of the books and wonder, who is Johnny and who is Mary? Like, who are these people? Because everything was used. But at the same time, their teachers, that was back when your teachers knew your parents, like didn't just like know their names and looked at they knew them and would call and check on you. Or if they something was going on in your household, a lot of time the teacher was aware of it because they went to the church with your parents. Like that kind of thing, it was a whole different vibe. And like we have lived in our neighborhood your entire lives. You don't know hardly any of the neighbors because there is not that.
That's community. The one thing that I wish that I could have experienced is living in a Black neighborhood. Because our neighborhood is like, we're like one of 3 Black people in the neighborhood.
It's more than that.
And not even just like about race. I just wish there were younger people in our neighborhood. Like I never had neighborhood friends.
Well, I'm very proud of the fact, and it's weird, but I'll explain. I'm proud of the fact that there are not younger people because what happened was, your dad and I were able to purchase a house in a community when we were much younger than everybody else in the community because we got our stuff together at a very early age.
That's wonderful for y'all.
So because of that, everybody was like at least 20 or so years older than us for the most part. So by the time I got around to having you, like they had, in some cases, grandkids. So like you didn't grow up in a neighborhood with a lot of kids because we moved into a community that was not really a community
that is
of
wonderful
young people.
For
so
y'all.
That's kind of the reason.
But
for that.
it was not great for me.
No,
I didn't have a fun time living in our.
No,
it wasn't like I hated it, but there were no neighborhood.
All
kids.
of our neighbors are literally senior citizens.
They all all of their kids were like 30 when I was 1. Like
yeah.
I didn't have the whole like neighborhood friends and neighborhood potluck and like having the neighborhood bestie. Like I didn't have.
You asked what was something that yeah. Everybody's mom knowing that everybody was at our house because our house was a hub. Because all the bicycles were in the front yard. Or, we had a basketball goal that was on the street. So, like, there was always somebody outside during, after school and in the summertime playing basketball in front of the house. I had a brother who was, pretty popular. So, like, there was always a bunch of boys at my house.
Why are you saying you had a brother like he's dead?
I'm
he's
just
not
saying
dead, y'all.
Well, I mean, at that age, like, I was always... And my dad had a truck. He played football. So here I am in the front with my mom driving everybody to practice and a truckload of little league football playing boys on the back. Like so.
Yeah,
you didn't
I didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
I didn't have and I also like wish that I could have lived in a generation where like everyone's guard was even though like stuff still happened that was bad. I feel like my generation was like the first generation where it was like people are killers, people are dangerous.
No, that started to happen. That started to happen later on. Like ours was the first, like when Halloween became dangerous because people were tampering with candy. That was
but y'all still like y'all wandered around the neighborhood and came home when the street lights came on.
We
like,
could.
Like right now you wouldn't let me wander around our neighborhood until the street lights come on and you don't know where I am.
Yes, to a certain degree.
You,
but just
like you would be wondering what are you like? Where are you going?
Yeah, but those are things that I think you didn't grow up with that whole neighborhood family type situation. Everybody knew our dog. Like we literally had a dog and didn't have a fence, and she could go, like everybody knew our dog. Everybody knew she wouldn't bite. She was fine, like whatever, like that kind of thing. You missed out on that. Having school friends, you don't have school friends that I started kindergarten with and went all the way through high school with because they started busing people and whatever. But we still had. There's people that I see now that I literally was in kindergarten with, and we can laugh about that, talk about that, whatever. So like. Your generation didn't have that so much because you might have gone to elementary school at one school and then went somewhere totally different for junior high school and we said junior high school, y'all said middle school. But so you didn't have that.
Or even the number one thing that I wish I could like teleport and bring back. I don't know how real it was because I'm just basing it off movies. But the 90s love stories like.
What do you like? You mean like movies?
Love Jones, like
that whole thing,
I feel like y'all had such like pure, especially for like the Black love stories. Y'all had such like pure romantic, like just like either star-crossed lovers or enemy to lovers or friends to lovers. And I don't think we have that in this generation. We have situationships and heartbreak.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Because Love Jones is probably in my top 5.
No, like Love Jones is my favorite romance movie.
Soundtrack for Love Jones.
To this day, if y'all comment, where is a freaking jazz club in the Tampa Bay area? Because I want to recreate that freaking movie with somebody's son someday. Like it's just. Yeah. I love 90s. And the other day
that 90s was when the Black
Renaissance?
the Black dramedies and the Black romantic.
It was like the height of it.
It was the height of it.
Like Poetic
I could probably
Justice.
make a page-long list of all of, the Best Man movies.
Love and Basketball.
The Wood, Love and Basketball. Like we were doing it. See, that's what I mean. Like,
I miss that. And somebody I forget who it was. I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but somebody called me 90s fine, and I was like, I will marry you. Don't play with me like that because I'm obsessed with the 90s. Like, y'all don't understand. I wish if I could live
but you know if you were in the 90s, it would not necessarily be like the movies were.
I mean, your life kind of was like that in the 90s. It was it not?
It kind of was.
Okay, so then come on now.
It kind of.
You're trying to tell me it wouldn't be like that in the 90s?
Like that was when the cycling happened because like it happened in the 70s and then it cycled back around 20 years later in the 90s.
And then
we were rocking the Afrocentric stuff. I had Africa on stuff. I had Nefertiti all
and the way
everything.
You experienced college in the 90s, like I wish I could have experienced college in the 90s because it just seemed like a different world. If y'all don't know about A Different World, go watch that show because it's so like it's cute. And it had me thinking that was gonna be my little college life, and it wasn't because I went to a PWI.
Had dinner with my college roommate and my college suite mate. She was in the room next door to us, and we hadn't like physically been together in like 20-something years. Like we had not been, and when we sat down, it was us again. Like it was my roommate. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't have her permission. But my roommate who would say crazy stuff, and my suite mate that we would just look at each other and be like, "Did she really just say that?" Like it was.
That's
it
nice.
Was a thing.
That's cute. Yeah. I can never go back to the 90s. That's sad for me.
Hey girls, I had a good time with y'all the other night. We need to do that again. Anyway,
when you say it out late, and I'm wondering where you at. I'm trying to be grown.
I'm not gonna even respond to how you tried to act like you were my mama.
It's so hard raising kids nowadays. It's so hard. But the Gemini Gem. I feel like we've already dropped some gems in this episode, but the official Gemini Gem.
Okay, people. So if you have not,
you remembered?
I did. I didn't even need prompting. I'm so proud of me.
I thought I was gonna have to be like,
no. I remember. So if you have not downloaded apps for the places that you frequent, grocery stores, restaurants, whatever, you are missing out. especially those of you that are in the Central Florida area, or even in Georgia and some up into the Carolinas. I think if you don't have that Publix app and you shop in Publix, you are cheating yourself. You need to download that app. All you have to do is put in your email address, make up a username, email address, I think it is. But once you get the app, you have access to the weekly ads. I think you can see the ads a little bit earlier. But the best thing about it is the digital coupons. You can click on those digital coupons, download them, and when you get done shopping, you're in the store, you enter your phone number and just watch the discounts come. Sometimes they will give you, if you spend so much money, they will give you perks. They call them perks. You need to do that. You need to do that for restaurants. You need to do that for stores, because it will stretch your dollars. And we just got done talking about how, financially people are struggling or maybe struggling, whatever and stuff. But do not sign up for the rewards for stores. And then also make sure you download their apps, because you'll get a lot of freebies. On your birthday, you can go in and get free ice cream or cake sometimes from Publix. At restaurants, sometimes they, let you choose a menu item. So don't sleep on the rewards. And all you got to do is just download the app, create a profile, which most of the time is just a username and password.
And also for the restaurants and stuff like McDonald's, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, like they have good things where you can get your rewards or whatever. Yeah. And I definitely be using it, because while I'm not a broke college student any longer, I am a broke working person now. So
and she likes to eat, so
loves a good meal. Mm-hmm. But my Gemini gem is to steal from your mother. Literally, if I need something, I go in your bathroom, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, and I just take it.
Yeah.
Or even steal from your grandmother, because I be stealing grandma's Bath and Body Works all the time, and it works like a charm.
Well, she actually has a closet that might as well be a store.
She got the loot like she's El Chapo in there.
That's how she operates.
And she'll be like, okay, get out.
What scent do you need? Because if you run out of something, because I like to use the insects, the body wash and the lotion and the spray. She has it in that closet, y'all.
She got the good.
Yeah, you have to go in there. You don't quite have to know a password or anything, but she'll go in the closet and
or you'll mention a couple times. I mention, I'm like, I wish they still had Forever Red, because I love Forever Red and I think it's discontinued. And then lo and behold, on my birthday, I look in the bag, Forever Red. I'm like, so you got the hookup. Like, how do you still get this? It's not on shelves.
See, that goes back to my Gemini gem. She has rewards. She joined the rewards program or whatever and stuff. And so she's getting free stuff a lot of times, or she's getting heavily discounted stuff. And my mom believes in being she believes in stocking up. She has an entire bin.
Like, when I tell you, not just a bin, no, a bin. A bin, which is just thrown in there, and you dig through and you find what you want.
Yeah,
and I don't even know where she has it in the house. I think it's in the closet or something.
I know where it is.
Oh, you know where it is. She never showed me where it was.
But Christmas time, birthdays, she's always ready. And what's cute is if you happen to be at her house on a holiday and there's a friend there, because my mom is very generous, she don't want them to feel left out. She'll go in there, her little stash, and be like, here.
And go get a little gift bag. I already had this for you, friend.
Yeah,
surprise.
So
So anyway, my gem is thievery. Thanks for joining us. It's been a time. We had a time, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Period.